for the news stories, family. Now, quick topic for the day. This is what I want to talk about with the family. So, recently, many of you are familiar with Vlad TV and his platform. Vlad TV is a website and a YouTube page that basically interviews black celebrities, black rappers. He has got into recently interviewing different mob figures and important people from the culture, but primarily the black culture, right? Primarily the black culture, right? Now, on July 4th, Minister Loius Farrakhan did a speech like he does every July 4th about the state of the black people, what we should be doing, who we should be looking out for, all these different things, right? Now, during this speech, he made a comment about a particular Jew. He made some disparaging remarks about a particular Jew, not Jewish people in totality, but he was speaking about a specific person and why we should be aware of this particular person. Now, Vlad, while doing an interview with D.L. Hughley, I'm not even sure why he brought this shit up, but while doing an interview with D.L. Hughley, he brought up this statement and he misquoted the minister. He made it sound like the minister said all Jewish people opposed to this one particular person. Now, in our society, when someone comes out and says something wrong, the typical way that you rectify that wrongdoing is by apologizing, right? So, Vlad has what I consider conscious and aware brothers that are always on his show, like Lord Jamal, Godfrey, my son. These are all men who have claimed to be his friend, quote unquote, right? So these gentlemen went to Vlad and told him, hey, your rhetoric was divisive, and the only way to really fix this is to apologize, right? Now, what Vlad did is Vlad released a statement basically saying he misquoted the minister. The segment that was used when he misquoted him has been removed, but he refused to apologize. Now, when I seen his statement about removing the footage and all these things, I thought to myself, well, for me, that will suffice. The fact that he acknowledged that he did something wrong, that will suffice, right? But then when I looked deeper into the situation, and when Godfrey and Lord Jamal mentioned they had a conversation with the brother, and they basically told him he should apologize, he mentioned, for one, he said, well, I'll apologize if he does an interview with me. That's some whole shit right there. That's basically saying you need clicks and views just to apologize to this man. And then the kicker for me, excuse me, the kicker for me was he basically said, I'm not going to apologize because of past comments that the minister, this is what he alluded to, because of past comments that the minister has said, because of basically his opposed anti-Semitism, which is the label, excuse me, which is the label everybody puts on you if you say anything negative about Jewish people, but you can say whatever the fuck you want about black people when there's no backlash, but whatever, right? So he said because of past things that minister said about anti-Semitic, the past things that the minister had said about Jewish people and whatever the case may be, right? Keeping in mind that Vlad is an atheist and a non-practicing Jew. He's not a Jew like that. Those just his people, right? So it was like a light bulb went off in my head. I said, oh, okay. So what he's saying is, regardless of what you niggas is going through, Jewish people is my people. And if you say something about Jewish people, I'm going to be on code. If you say something about Jewish people, I'm going to be on code with my people. You see what I'm saying? That's basically what he said, right? So then I got to thinking like, wow. So you allow these black men to come on your platform and say whatever they want to say about black women, say whatever they want to say about gangs, say whatever they want to say about crime culture. You allow them to disrespect black people at every turn. But once you get in a situation where you have to apologize for your disrespect, you say, no, I'm riding with my people on code against you niggas, right? And Vlad and Lord Jamal was on the phone with him, basically told him, hey, look, we finna do a show about you and come out and say we not fucking with you no more if you don't do this. He was like, I don't care. My numbers last month was pretty high, so I'm good. So look, y'all, for me, because I was a fan of Vlad. Even though people would tell me, look, why he asking these young dudes all these questions? This is all propaganda. Why is he using these slanderous tactics to get information? I would defend the dude. Like, no, these niggas is going on there talking themselves, which I still agree with that. Like, he ain't making nobody say nothing. You ain't gotta reveal shit. You can say next comment. You can say next question. You can refuse to talk to the nigga if you wanted to. Like, that's real. But I'm like, oh, okay, I see. So when it comes to protecting your people, you all for it. But you're in this culture where you're profiting and making money off of black folks. Like, there's no way around that. So when we talk about these different monikers that have been thrown around for white men who infiltrate our systems and use it for their gain without giving nothing back, culture vulture, different titles like that, we got to look at Vlad. And there's a whole list of people that we need to ostracize from our community. If we need to start with Vlad, that's fine. But we got a lot of people in our community that are simply making money off of us without giving shit in return. And I remember another thing that drew a red flag for me is somebody asked Vlad, well, what do you do for the black community? You make 90% of your money off of black pain and dysfunction. What do you do for the black community? He basically said, shit, I create documentary style interviews that people will be able to look at 20, 30 years from now to chronicle the cult. Nah, nigga, nah. You make money off of that. That's something that's gonna pay you. How does that help us? It doesn't help us. You see what I'm saying? So if we gonna get rid of Vlad, now, a culture vulture or a person that comes into the community and means us no good, that just ain't somebody white, family. That could be somebody black too. So we need to get on the same, the reason why I'm talking about this is because we need to get on the same accord when it comes to all these motherfuckers. Anybody who comes into our community that doesn't mean us any well, we need to ostracize their ass. And the problem is, we've been used to it for so long. We've been used to whoever coming in our community, slumming it up with us, niggering it up with us. We so welcoming as African people that we accept them into the fold. They take what they want from our culture, then bounce. I.e., Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, so Mark Warburton was the same kind of way, i.e. Justin Timberlake, i.e. Justin Bieber. All these dudes, when it was cool to be black, they was on some black shit. But they can wake up one morning, wash themselves off, get a little crew cut, now they back to being a white boy. You see what I'm saying? While we still left with all the dysfunction and all the bullshit they left behind. You see what I'm saying? So I was watching Vlad. I will no longer watch him again. If he don't want to apologize for what he said about the minister, even though I'm not going to say I'm the biggest proponent of the Nation of Islam. Like, I have some issues with different things they've done in the past. But at the end of the day, the minister is one of our elders who have spoken truth to power for our community for years. Like, all the details of what he does for our community, what he does in the NOI, all this shit about Malcolm X. Right now, that's neither here nor there. We can deal with that behind closed doors. But the bottom line is, you talk shit about one of our elders, and it's with malicious intent. Like, if you see how he read the article, how he was reading it to DL, that's malicious intent to me. So you're kind of using us to get what you want. And I've watched Vlad a lot, right? And when black issues come up, he supports us. He overly supports us, right? He overly supports the cops getting charged in the Breonna Taylor case and George Floyd shit and all this shit. And now I'm beginning to see you just placating us, family. You just doing that shit because you know if you came out and said, I don't think these cops should be charged, you're going to lose half your viewership. You know what I mean? So he mentioned to Lord Jamal and Godfrey that he doesn't think this is going to affect his bottom line. And I hope we're able to rally around each other to say, fuck this dude. And anybody else we need to do that to kind of get rid of these elements in our culture that don't mean us no good. And he's one of them. That I realize now that he's one of them. So as much black shit as I talk, as much empowerment as I talk, I'll be a fool to still be down with that dude after realizing how he really feels about us. And family, we need to get to a point that we're willing to do that to anybody in our society. Anybody in our society who does not mean black people well, who obviously is just using us, or obviously are going against our sensibilities, we need to be able to say, fuck that motherfucker.